Ladies and gerbils, how are we doing? It's sort of Wednesday, and at some point in October, roughly in the middle, and we're going to have a look at packing a Gibson guitar today. And so, well, let's do that, let's go. Gibsons are not quite as straightforward to pack as are, say, Stratocasters or Telecasters, and we'll have a look at a Strat and the difference that I'm talking about. Now, hang on, I'll get one. We'll show you the difference. So, as you can see, and let me get you down here. So as you can see, the bit that we're interested in is the headstock. Now, as you can see, I've got this on a totally flat surface, but the headstock is touching down, and we do not want that at all. Whereas if we're using a Strat, and here's one conveniently located, it's a different story altogether, because they do not have that 17-degree headstock angle, and so when they're lying flat, as you can see, there's a lovely gap there before the head touches down. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of an angle there, but all the same. So they're an entirely different prospect when it comes to posting and packing. Okay, so let's have a look and see what our options are. Well, very clearly, option number one is to pack it in its OHSC. If you've seen this before, OHSC, and you wondered what it was, it's original hard shell case. Because, you know, none of us can know anything before we know it. Now this is the original hard shell case for this guitar. This is a Gibson Nighthawk. Well, it says it's a studio, but it's all. But anyway, I digress. So, it's quite a slim guitar, as you'll see, which means that the fabulous Canadian manufacturers, well, it's in there somewhere, it is a TKL, but the body compartment here is quite shallow. But still, these neck supports are raised, yes, there, so that when the guitar lies inside the case, the headstock will not touch down here at the bottom, and this is very important. So if you're sending a Gibson in a case, I'll sit this way around and you can see. So if you're sending a Gibson in a case, plug it in the case. If you feel that there's any packing needed, you know, for any lateral or up and down movements, then by all means use some packing. But let me just remove you from here and I'll show you what I mean. So you should be able to see fairly clearly that the headstock is absolutely nowhere near the base of the box that it goes in, and this is what is required with a Gibson, because if you've not supported the neck to make sure the headstock clears whatever the guitar is going into, I can tell you, snap, that's it, and Gibson over. Alrighty, so that's so easy. So all we're doing is popping it in there and chuck it in a box. Off it goes. And I would use bubble wrap over the case, just in case, before I bung it in the box. But I've had these delivered to me in, you know, like that industrial cling film, you see. And it's perfectly sound. I've never had any problem either posting or receiving a Gibson guitar that's in its original hard shell case. So, what if I'm using a non-original hard shell case, just a generic case? Well, just make sure that the neck supports are deep enough to make sure that there's a little clearance underneath the tip of the headstock. If not, just use a little packing material on those headstock supports. Probably in the case of a hard case shell, you'd be alright with a bit of bubble wrap. So what if I haven't got a hard case? What do I do then? Let's see. So let us briefly delve into the world of fantasy, and we're going to say this is a Les Paul Studio. And with your Studio, they gave you this bag, didn't they? You see, they gave you this bag, which is very nice, very plush, nice and thick, nice and strong. But if you bung your Gibson in there and just post it, you run an almost inevitable risk of breakage. So, what I recommend is this. Well, what you need is something to support the neck so that the tip of the headstock does not touch down on whatever it is the guitar is going to go into, whether it's either a bag or a cardboard box or whatever. So the first thing I do want to do, obviously, is I want to protect the neck from any harm. So we've got a little bit of bubble wrap under there, just to keep it scratch free. And I'm using, it's like a Blue Peter thing, isn't it? So I'm using a bit of polystyrene. And all I need to do to ensure safety, whoops, is to make sure that the neck is, but now this is only, this is just as an example. If I was actually doing this for real, I spend a long time packing guitars, and I make sure that they're as bomb-proof as I can possibly make them, as secure and robust as nature will allow. So first of all, a little bit of protection for the neck, and then I've got here a nice piece of polystyrene. And what I would do is that I would ensure that the polystyrene goes roughly from the bottom of the volute, which is roughly here where my index finger is, to where the heel part of the neck starts to curve away. So we're looking at a distance of what's that, about 13 or 14 inches, something like that. And of course I'm going to make sure that because polystyrene is nice and easy to sculpt, you can make it whatever shape you want, just with a kitchen knife or any old thing really. But the important thing is that we've got this headstock lifted from the bottom of what's going on. Okay, so what I then do, and this I've found to be absolute gold. Well, it's not gold, it's plastic, isn't it? Or HDPE, high density polyvinyl ethanol or something like that anyway. So, yes, bit of cling film, straight out the kitchen drawer. And so what I'm going to do is lift this. The cling film is sticking to bloody everything, damn it. So I'm going to lift this and pop that there. Well, you get the idea, don't you? And so I am wrapping tightly and securely the neck so that it is supported. As I say, I would use a piece that is, tailored to that length. It doesn't matter about it being one piece. You can use 2, 3, 4, however many pieces are required, as long as it ends up as a flat level surface, and so long as you've got this clearance here, which is what we want to see. And really, after you've done that, and I'll also use, just let me take you off here and bring you down. What I'll also use is some graduated packing material along this part here, so that, as though the whole damn thing was a flat angled surface. So, and I don't need to explain to you how to do that. You people of the world, you just know the difference between flat and compensated and not, I'm fairly sure. So, and then, obviously, plenty of bubble wrap, or if you're really, really lucky, you might have a bubble wrap, a guitar sock. So sock goes on guitar, and then the whole thing, because bubble wrap takes up very, very little room, And then the whole thing can now go in there. And as we can see, the headstock is absolutely nowhere near the base of your packing material. And then, so this is advice for buyers and sellers. If you're buying a guitar that's going to get posted in a bag, just send them a little message. Will you support the neck? I've done it loads of times. So I think that actually that's really rather it. If you actually want to see me make a guitar shaped or guitar sized cardboard box from scratch, just from scrap bits of cardboard that I may have found either in the office or from other stuff that's been delivered. Speaking of which, if you're sending through Hermes, make sure that you stick to their volume restrictions. And I've said this before, but I'm saying it again just in case you didn't watch the bit where I said it before. They have a total volume size of 245 centimetres, which means that the shortest end and the depth of the box, you times those by 2 and add them to the overall length. And so you just add all those together and make sure if it's less than 245, you're good to go. If it's not, make your box a bit smaller. So yeah, and as much packing as you can get in is always better. If you are going to, let's just pop this down here for a moment. I'm going to take this out of here because I'm sure that young Felix will be interested in whatever's going on. So if you are going to send it in a box, which I'm sure you are, then what I do advise is that, there you pig. Well, that's kind of it. Right. So if you are sending a box, at the top end of the box, so these sides here and here, there will be gaps, so I advise using, now what we've done with those? Anyway, I advise you to airbags or cardboard or old shoes, well maybe not old shoes, but you know, just something to pack down either side of the neck bit of the guitar box so that it's not rattling about in there, and it just again reduces the risk. Any questions or other little tips that you might like about, you know, packing a guitar safely and getting it sent robustly? Please feel free to leave a comment in the section below, and if you do want to see me make a box from scratch, ping me and, well, you know, leave a comment, and perhaps we can do that next Wednesday. I'll be happy to show you what I do. Alrighty, if I'm stuck for other materials. So it's adios amigos, and I'll see you at the weekend. Ta-ra.